What's good, fam? Welcome back to the channel. In part 2, we're looking at how to get perfect hot water rod curls. I thought it's important to show you how to do this because it took me a moment to figure it out, being that what I'm used to is just plaiting the hair and crimping it. So what I'm showing you there is that I've created enough length. These are waist length braids, but I added a little extra piece at the end to create a long enough piece of extra hair to allow that to hold the curl. So the third piece, instead of continuing the plait, I wrap that around and then I push that piece of hair through the top to pull down tightly to secure it, and then I push the loop, I pull the loop and then close it. See that there? Now, why it's important to, when you loop it around, to pull from the top and not push it through the bottom going up, even though some persons might find that easier, is because that third piece of hair, you want it to be facing downward and not upward. So you push it through the top, then pull it down, then tighten, and you pull the overall loop around. So what I'm showing you here is how, when I plait it and left it alone, how it started to loosen. So while some persons might say, hey, I don't want the loop, this is why I found it important to do the knot, because once you plait and leave your braid to go to another one, it starts to loosen after a while. So what I've done here as well is, if the one you're using for the loop is short, you use the hook, push it through the bottom, pull through the top to get that in there, especially if it's short or thin. It might irritate your fingers having to do it over and over. So that is an alternative to getting it done. Once that is done, before hot watering, it's important, so important, to brush it out, comb it out, whatever utensil you have that is best suited. But you need to comb out those ends, because once the hot water touches it, if there are knots, it's gonna be so difficult to comb that out after. So at every point, you're making sure that it's straight and silky as much as it can be. Without the hot water, it's straight before you go ahead and add that hot water. So because of that, instead of dipping it in the hot water, I'm pouring it over so that it will be naturally straight. Because if I'm dipping it, it's gonna make the hair bend at the ends at first, which, even if you combed it out properly, that might create some knots. So I'm pouring it over so that everything can lay down as much as possible in the first instance, and I'm running my fingers through it to make sure it distributes for the majority. And now I can then make sure everything goes through, because we want the rest of the hair to be straight, the plaits to be straight. So now what I'm doing is, some plaits, depending on where they fall, you want to group them up. And I decided that about, how many plaits are we looking at? About maybe between 6 and 8 plaits to every curling rod would give me the desired width of the curl I would want. And what I'm doing here is I'm pairing up all the ends, because they may fall from, or the plaits may come from different parts of the scalp. I'm grouping those together and I'm combing it out. Now, had we not combed it out before and just hot watered it, those knots would have been epic and a real problem to comb out now. So now we're smoothing it out. And we're wrapping it neatly and tightly around the curling rod. You can use smaller curling rods if that is your preference, but I love this size for this particular length and thickness of the plait. These medium plaits, I love it for this. You secure that end, and I use those to keep, because the plaits were unleveled, keep those together. Those clips kept them together, and I roll it once up onto the plait, because if we left it loose, the top part of the straight hair would not have curled. So you're gonna see where it doesn't really affect the plait, but you just want it to make sure all of the straight part of the braid is part of the curl. Look at that. So I only had 6 sizes of 6 of those size curling rods, so I had to do half the hair at one point and another half at another point. So what I'm doing here is just I'm adding a little bit of styling mousse to help the curls hold. Look at that. This is beautiful. So we're looking at the scalp and how beautiful that is, going into our nice hot water luscious curls. She loved this color on herself. She usually goes for black, and believe me, I had to braid my hair in this color after and do the curls. So what I'm doing here is, because it's curls and they're delicate, I didn't want to use the towel so much to squeeze them, so I used the blow dryer. These are just close-up pictures of the curls. And see there, it falls to about her butt, thereabout. So had we just went ahead and used and just curled the regular waist length, it would have fallen above her waist, which is not what we wanted. But look at that. Love it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was very helpful. I hope if you try it, you can let me know in the comments how it turned out. Enjoy the rest of your day. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.